Hi, this is Jeff Spence, your Math 120 instructor for the Community College of Denver, and this is our video lecture over Unit 4D, which has to do with loan payments, credit cards, and mortgages. So mainly what we're going to look at is the loan payments and the mortgages, and we're going now from savings plans and investments to actually paying off loans, which is the interest is going to be kind of the opposite. We pay interest versus earn interest. So the main thing is the principal. We've still been using that word. The principal is the amount of money owed at this particular time versus now the amount of what we said before was the amount of money invested as a one-time investment. Now it's the one-time loan amount, what you borrow. An installment loan or an amortized loan is a loan that is paid off with equal regular payments. So most loans, car loans and mortgages are like that. They make sure that the payments are equal so that you can budget that out of your paycheck each month. We'll see how that affects the amount that goes towards principal and the amount that goes towards interest that you owe on that loan. And then the loan term is the time that you have to pay back the loan in full. A lot of mortgages are either 15 years or 30 years. Car loans can really be a lot of different loan terms of any number of years. Okay, so the portions of installment loans going towards the principal and towards the interest vary as the loan is paid down. The big thing that you're going to be asked early on in your homework is that early in the loan term, the portion going towards interest is relatively high because interest is a percentage of what you owe. And at the beginning of the loan, you owe the most amount, you owe what you borrowed. And as you pay off the loan, you that balance starts to go down, and so the interest starts to go down, and that's eventually what we're showing here. As the term proceeds, the portion going towards interest gradually decreases, and the portion going towards the principal gradually increases. So eventually, as you start to pay off your loan, the interest goes down, and the amount that you pay towards what you owe goes up. Mortgages are specific types of loans that we're going to look at for home loans. A down payment is something you pay at the beginning to pay the lender to loan you the money. Usually they want a down payment so that they don't just loan you the whole amount to buy the house. And closing costs are fees up front that you have to pay maybe to close a loan or get the loan going. So sometimes we'll look at those fees at the beginning and discuss which loan might be better or which one will be save you more money in the long run. And fixed rate mortgage and adjustable rate mortgage, we're mainly going to look at fixed rate mortgages. Adjustable rate mortgages are good if you know you can get a low rate and you're not going to stay at the house very long. If you know you want to stay at the house for maybe say over 5 years, you generally want to go for a fixed rate. That's what most people do. And this slide is just showing how the over the period of the loan, after about five years, you can see that the interest, which is the blue part, starts to dissipate. Okay, so interest is a big portion of your payment at the beginning, but eventually, after about 5 years, the amount that goes towards principal starts to increase greatly until you pay off the percentage, the 100% of the loan. So we're going to go through some tables to show that as well. So let's do some examples. I'm going to pull these right from my math lab. So this is a problem very similar to number 10 on your homework. It says, consider a home mortgage of $125,000 at a fixed APR of 12% for 15 years. It says, calculate the monthly payment. Well, the formula that you have for loans, loan payment formula, is this formula number 9 to figure out the payment. Now, let me differentiate between the formula here that solves for the payment. This is for a savings plan. If you want to put in money into an account and have it grow, this is to pay off a loan, and the principal is the amount that we borrowed. Okay, so I'm going to follow this formula here. Now remember that the home mortgage amount was $125,000, so that's our principal. The APR is 12%, so that's 0.12. The term is 15 years. When it says monthly payment, that's going to be N representing 12. Okay, so remember I said we should do this N times Y at the beginning. So I'm going to type this into the formula using my calculator here. Let's see. All right, so here we go. So I got to do the n times y really quick. That's 12 times 15 years. So I'll have that number, and then I'll type that in when I use the exponent here. Okay, so following the formula, the principal is the 125,000. 125,000, parenthesis, times the APR, which is 0.12, divided by 12, parenthesis, divided by, parenthesis, 1 minus, parenthesis, 1 plus, the APR, which is 0.12, divided by 12 again. All right, and the parenthesis to the negative key is right here. It'll be in the same spot on your TI 30 calculator, right next to the decimal, to the negative 180, which I figured out before. And this will tell me the monthly payment. So the monthly payment rounded to the nearest cent is $1,521. Okay. Then it says determine the total amount paid over the term of the loan. So to do the total amount paid over the term of the loan, I've already typed it in here. I just wanted to make sure on something with my math lab. To figure out the total payment over the term of the loan, remember we're making monthly payments of $1,500.21. We're making them every month for 15 years. So I take the 1,521 times the 180, which is the 12 times 15 years. So let me show you that again. 1,521, you could do it this way too. 0.21 times the 12 monthly payments times the 15 years that we're going to pay this over, and we get the $270,037.80. That's the total amount paid. So it says over the total amount, or of the total payment over the loan, this percent is paid towards the principal and this percent is paid towards the interest. So to do the percent is paid towards principal. Well, that's what we owe. Eventually we're going to pay off this $125,000, but we've paid $270,037.80 to pay off this $125,000. So we've paid a total of this amount. So we got to take the $125,000, which is the part that went towards principal, and divide it by the total paid. Oops, got to go back one. 03780. And that is this percent. This is a percent. Let me multiply it by 100 to get it in percent. And let me follow the rounding instructions. It says round to the nearest tenth is needed. So it should be 46.3%, excuse me. Okay. Now, if this is the portion that went towards the principal, then the rest of it went towards the interest. Okay, so the rest of it should be 100 minus this, which is 53.7%. Okay, so these have to add up to 100%. The portion that goes towards the principal is the loan amount divided by the total paid. The portion that goes towards the interest is the rest. Let's check that answer, and we're good. Okay, if you want to see the actual amount that you paid towards interest, you would do the 270,000 that you paid off in the 15 years, 270, 37, 80, minus the 125,000 that we borrowed. Now I know this question doesn't ask this, but you will be asked this in other parts. This is the actual interest that you paid. Okay, so you actually paid more in interest than you did of what you borrowed. So we paid more than double of what we borrowed to borrow $125,000, and that typically happens on home mortgages. So let's move on to a different problem that we're going to do where you have to figure out or do a table here. Okay, it says for the following loan, make a table showing the amount of each monthly payment that goes towards principal and interest for the first 3 months of the loan, and I'm going to do just the first 2 months. So a home mortgage of $145,000 with a fixed APR of 4% for 30 years. It says fill out the table. At the end of month 1, your interest. Okay, so to figure out your interest on a loan, when you do just the basic interest for one monthly payment, is just the APR divided by 12 because we have monthly payments, and then we take that's the interest rate, and then we're going to multiply that by what you owe. So in this case, we're going to take the .04, oops, if we don't have the point, .04 divided by 12, we have 12 monthly payments, get that number, and multiply that by the $145,000 that we owe. This will be our interest owed for the first payment. So this is $483.33 that we have to pay in interest on our first payment. Okay, but we have to figure out the monthly payment as well. Okay, so the payment towards principal, well, we have to figure out the payment in the first place. So we have these numbers, and I'm going to use our loan payment formula here. Okay, so I'm going to have, I owe $145,000 times, okay, using the formula, the APR, which is .04 divided by 12, okay, parenthesis, divided by, and then 1 minus, parenthesis, 1 plus, and then the APR, which is .04 divided by 12. Okay, and I forgot to do the power again, but it's going to be negative, and then 12 times 30 is 360. I know that from experience, but you can't put the product up there, otherwise it'll be wrong. So you have to do your n times y as the number, don't do a multiplication up there because it'll ruin your formula. Our monthly payment is $692.25. Okay, so of the monthly payment that's $692.25, $483.33 of this $692 is just going towards the interest. That's money that the bank, basically it's revenue for the bank. So the rest of the amount paid goes towards what we borrowed, the principal. Okay, so the difference between $692.25, which is our monthly payment each month. Remember, this is an installment loan, so it's going to be the same that we pay each month. But the interest this month is $483.33. So the amount that goes towards the principal is the $208.92. All right, so the new principal then is the $145,000 minus this payment that goes towards that principal. So we owe $208.92 less. So $145,000 minus that $208.92. And this is what we bought. This is our new balance. Okay, so the new principal is $144,791.08. Okay, check that answer. Looks good. Now we got to do this end of month 2. Okay, now what changes is that we owe a little bit less. So our interest should go down a little bit because it's interest on this amount. So if you take this amount times the .04, I don't have the point. .04 divided by 12, this will be our interest. That's how we always compute the interest. What we owe times the APR divided by 12. So in this case it's $482.64. Remember, our monthly payment is always going to be $692.25. That's up here, $692.25. You should jot that down. So $692.25 minus the portion that went towards interest, which this time is a little less, $482.64. And we have the $209.61. So a little bit more is going towards the principal. Now the new principal is this current balance minus the amount that we just paid off. So we have $144,000 that we owe, $791 times, or .08 minus the $209.61. That's what we paid off. So now our new balance should be $144,581.47. Okay, so then you can go on and do the third column. This would be the principal times .04 divided by 12, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we're going to go to this. We're going to do one more example in the second half of this video.